Most people move through life with a quiet assumption they almost never question. They believe the universe is happening to them. A problem appears, and they say life is against me. A door opens, and they say life finally gave me something. A relationship ends, money comes or goes, the body changes, plans collapse, and beneath all of it is the same hidden belief. I am here, inside my little self, and the universe is out there, sending things toward me. But what if that entire model is backwards? What if the universe is not happening to you? What if the universe is happening as you? This is not a motivational slogan. It is not a comforting belief. It is one of the deepest recognitions found in ancient mystic teachings, and strangely, it is also where modern physics begins to disturb our ordinary idea of reality. The more closely science looks at matter, space, time, and observation, the harder it becomes to defend the old picture of a separate observer looking out at an independent world. The mystics said this directly. You are not a fragment inside the whole. You are the whole expressing itself through a temporary form. Quantum physics does not say this in spiritual language, but it does reveal a universe far less solid, far less separate, and far more participatory than common sense ever imagined. Stay with this carefully because if you really understand what this means, the center of your life begins to move. The first thing to see is that the feeling of being a separate self is not the final truth of who you are. It is an experience. It is convincing. It is familiar. It is useful for navigating the world. But it is still an experience appearing in awareness. There is a body. There are thoughts. There are memories. There is a name, a story, a personality, a history. But all of these are known. They appear to something more primary than the story itself. You say my body, you say my thoughts, you say my life. But who is the one that knows the body, the thoughts, and the life? The ancient mystics began their inquiry here. They did not ask you to believe something. They asked you to look. Not at the world first, but at the one who claims to be looking. When you turn attention back toward the source of attention, the separate self begins to lose its solidity. You discover that what you call me is not a fixed object. It is a movement of perception, memory, sensation, and identification. Quantum physics made a similar disturbance in a very different domain. Classical physics imagined a world made of objects existing independently from the observer. But quantum mechanics revealed that the act of observation is not passive. Measurement changes what appears. At the deepest level we can currently study, reality does not behave like a collection of finished things waiting to be inspected. It behaves more like a field of possibility becoming specific through relationship. This does not mean your personal thoughts magically control every event. That is a shallow misunderstanding. It means something far more profound. Reality is not divided as cleanly as we assumed into a separate observer over here and a separate universe over there. The observer and the observed are entangled in the act of reality appearing. This is the doorway into the second recognition. Life is not an object outside you. Life is the field in which you and the world arise together. Look closely at any experience you are having right now. A sound appears. A sensation appears. A thought appears. A visual field appears. A feeling appears. Where is the border between you and the experience? At first, the answer seems obvious. You are inside the body, and the world is outside the body. But that is a concept. In direct experience, the body itself appears as sensation. The world appears as color, sound, pressure, memory, and meaning. Even the thought, I am inside the body, appears within awareness. The mystics pointed to this again and again. There is not consciousness inside the world. There is world inside consciousness. Not as fantasy, but as direct recognition. Everything you have ever known of the universe has appeared in the space of awareness. The stars, the ocean, your own hands, your grief, your desire, your fear, your idea of time. All of it has been known as an appearance in consciousness. This does not make the world unreal in the sense of being worthless or imaginary. It makes the world intimate. It means the universe is not somewhere else. It is showing up here, as this exact moment. The third recognition is that resistance is the feeling of believing you are separate from what is happening. When life moves in a way the mind does not want, the separate self tightens. It says, This should not be happening. This is in the way. This is against me. And sometimes on the human level, action is needed. Boundaries are needed. Change is needed. Compassion is needed. But beneath wise action, there is often an extra layer of suffering, the belief that reality itself has made a mistake. The mystics called this ignorance not as an insult, but as a misperception. To resist reality at the deepest level is to assume you are outside of it, standing apart from the movement of the whole, judging it from a distance. But there is no outside place from which to stand. Even your resistance is something the universe is doing. Even your fear is energy taking shape. Even your longing to wake up is the whole calling itself home. When you see this, surrender stops being weakness. Surrender does not mean passivity. It does not mean allowing harm. It does not mean pretending everything is pleasant. Surrender means you stop arguing with the fact that this moment is already here. You meet reality before you try to modify it. You act from contact instead of contraction. This is why the ancient teachings place so much emphasis on presence. Presence is not a technique for becoming spiritual. Presence is what remains when the mind stops splitting life into me and what is happening to me. In presence, life is not an attack. It is an unfolding. The fourth recognition is that your inner world and outer world are not two separate realities. The Hermetic principle says, as within, so without, as above, so below. Most people hear this and reduce it to positive thinking. They imagine it means if you think better thoughts, better things will happen. But the teaching is much deeper than that. It means reality is patterned. The same intelligence that forms galaxies also forms nervous systems. The same ratios, rhythms, tensions, and harmonies appear at every scale. The outer world and inner world mirror each other because they are not fundamentally separate substances. They are expressions of one field. Your state of consciousness shapes what you notice, what you interpret, what you repeat, what you tolerate, what you create, and what you unconsciously seek. A fearful mind does not live in the same world as a clear mind, even if both stand in the same room. The room may be shared, but the reality being experienced is not the same. Modern neuroscience agrees in its own language. The brain does not simply record the world. It predicts, filters, edits, and constructs your lived experience. You do not experience raw reality. You experience reality translated through perception. And perception is shaped by attention, memory, expectation, and identity. So when the mystics say your world is a reflection of your consciousness, they are not saying you are personally to blame for everything that happens. They are saying the world you live in is inseparable from the consciousness through which it is known. Change consciousness, and the world does not merely look different. A different world begins to become available. The fifth recognition is the most difficult for the separate self to accept. You are not only in the universe is in you. Every atom in your body was forged in stars. Every breath is part of a planetary exchange. Every thought depends on a brain shaped by evolution, language, ancestry, and cosmic history. The body you call yours is not separate from earth, sun, water, time, and space. It is those things temporarily organized into a human form. The mystics looked deeper and said, even this is not the end. You are not merely made of the universe physically. You are the universe becoming aware of itself from a particular point of view. Awareness is not a private possession owned by the person. The person is an appearance within awareness. This is why the phrase, the universe is happening as you matters. It does not inflate the ego. It dissolves it. The ego hears this and says, I am the universe, therefore I am special. The mystic realization says, there is no separate I to be special. There is only the whole appearing as this life, this breath, this moment, this listening, this seeing, this mysterious capacity to know that existence is here. When this recognition becomes more than an idea, your relationship with life changes. You stop waiting for the universe to prove it is on your side. You stop treating every obstacle as evidence that something has gone wrong. You stop imagining awakening as an escape from ordinary life. The ordinary becomes the doorway, washing a cup, answering a message, feeling sadness in the chest, watching sunlight move across a wall. All of it is the universe revealing itself in forms so familiar that the mind overlooks them. Nothing has to become mystical. It already is. The only thing missing was your intimacy with it. This does not mean your human life becomes easy. Pain still comes. Uncertainty still comes. Loss still comes. But the center from which you meet them is different. You are no longer only the small self trying to survive the movement of reality. You begin to sense yourself as the movement itself, appearing for a while as a human being with a name, a face, a path, and a question burning quietly in the heart. Why am I here? And perhaps the answer is not something the mind can possess. Perhaps the answer is this. You are here because the universe is not finished knowing itself. It is knowing itself as your seeing, your loving, your confusion, your courage, your silence, your willingness to wake up from the dream of separation. The universe is not happening to you. It is not standing outside your life, deciding whether to bless you or punish you. It is breathing as you, looking as you, learning as you, remembering as you. And in the moments when you become still enough to stop insisting that you are separate from it, you may notice something extraordinary. Life was never outside you. You were never outside life. There was only this one vast intelligence, appearing as everything, and for a brief, luminous moment, calling itself by your name. If this reached something quieter than thought, share it with someone who has been feeling like life is happening against them. And leave a comment below with one sentence. The universe is happening as me. Not because it is an affirmation, but because it may be the beginning of remembering what you already are.